So in this video, we're just going to have a look at different ways to post work to students, digital profiles, how to send announcements, and how to assign activities. So just remembering that you always will need to have your QR code ready for your students, and they will need to use an iPad or a device that they have, and using the class app, they're going to click on I'm a student and they're going to scan the QR code, and that will enable them to open up to their class. Now, as a teacher, you're going to have more functionality than the students. They're only going to have journal, activities, and inbox, and you'll also have skills. They won't have the wrench here, but they will have the add button. That's what we're going to look at today. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is we're going to click the add button, and this is to add anything to students' work. Now with students, they're only going to have post student work. They're not going to have assign activity or send announcement. That is only for teachers. So we're going to have a look at what students will see and what you can see if you post to student work. So if I click on the pencil, so as you can see, there's many ways that we can post things to students' journals. We can take a photo of their work. So for example, if they've done some writing or they've made an artwork or something like that, they can take a photo of that and put that through to Seesaw. They can also do a drawing. Now a drawing is quite useful, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So it opens up, it's very similar to things like Microsoft Whiteboard. There's lots of functionality, so you can add text by typing, you can record, so you can click on that and record over what you've done. You can take a photo and add it in here. You can also click on the three dots and you can add shapes, which are lots of different shapes. I find the place value blocks really helpful. So yep, there's lots of different ones of that. And you can also change the backgrounds to add them. You can also then use a pencil and you can change the color over on the side here by just changing and moving the large circle up and down. You can also do that with a texter, a highlighter, a glow pen, and then you've also got a rubber. At any point you can also add an extra page, so you can just click the plus button and then you've got a second page over here and you can add anything. So when you click on add photo, you can upload a photo and you can also just take a photo from the screen. So uploading a photo, especially if you're using your computer, is really good. If you've taken a photo of your children being somewhere or doing something. You can always also go forward and backwards, undo button. There's also an add button, and there's also a rubbish kind of put in the bin button that you can add. But there is also this great functionality down here of adding a comment. So you can write a caption, but you can also voice record it. So I find this very helpful for younger students because their reading ability isn't where I need it to be for them to understand the instructions or what I need them to do. So I can do that at any point so that that's added. Then all I have to do is click the tick, and then I'm going to choose the students that I want to send it to. So when students are on a laptop or an iPad, they're only going to have access to their, they only want to have access to theirs. So if I'm student 1, I'm going to want to click student 1, but I might be working in a pair with student 4, so I can click both of them and then I can click tick. But I can also go and click all of the students so that it sends to all of them. So at some points I might send out a picture of say the athletics carnival or a dance that we went to, and I might send that as all students, so it's on their digital profile. But at this point I'm just going to choose student 1 and 3, and I'm just going to click the tick, and then it's going to upload for those students. Now, and then it sits on the journal there, and so it will only be for those students. But if I go and click on student 2, there's nothing there for that student because they haven't posted anything. But student 1 has something already on their journal, and that's sitting there ready for them to go. The only difference is that because I have put it up, it goes straight to their parents and they can see it. With students, once they put something up, you will need to approve it. And that will come into the inbox here, and it will come under notifications, and it will sit here saying there's notifications and you have to go through and review it. I would really recommend looking at the picture that they've taken, or especially listening to the recording, because you never know what they're actually going to say, and that's just you covering yourself, because remembering that this is going to parents. Again, when we go to post to students' work, we can do a video as well. We can post a link. So sometimes, especially with little kids, I will post maybe 1 or 2 links for them to go and research. So they're the links I want them to use using iPads in the classroom. You can also upload. So you can upload from your Google Drive. You can upload from your computer. So anything that you've saved, you can upload and send it through too. There's also this notes functionality. This is really good to send reminders. So I might send a reminder, or I might even say, give an explanation of what we did in English, kind of like the success criteria and learning intention, just so the parents understand once, if they just see a picture, oh, okay, that's what they were doing in English today, or that's what they were doing in PE. So it gives them kind of a little bit more of an in-depth knowledge of why we've sent that photo through their Seesaw portal. So that's all the activities. Now, if at any point you go, oh no, I've made a mistake, I don't want to do that, you just go back and you can start over at any point. You also have all, I guess, the power within Seesaw to change and do things. So there are the 3 little buttons. So if you've approved something, or you've sent something through and it's not quite right, you can go and click on the 3 little buttons, and that's kind of like your settings. So you can edit the item, edit the people, you can edit the date, you can share the item, you can print it, and you can even delete it. So if you've accidentally put something through and gone, oops, no, that's not right, I can delete it and start over. So there's all that functionality within it as well. That's the different types of post you can make, and that will go through once you've approved, and the parents will see that for their student, not for your whole class. So as you as a teacher will see the whole class sitting here. For example, if I go back to my original class, which I can't do yet, I can. If you go back to my original class for this year, you can just see that all my kids' stuff is sitting there, which is really good. But so it will sit there for the whole time, but students and parents will only be able to see theirs. Okay, the next bit is to send an announcement. So an announcement is kind of like an email to all. So if I go send announcement, I'm going to sit here, and this is generally where I will send my reminder that Athletics Carnival is tomorrow, or that, oh, don't forget that Wednesday is library day for primary. You can also send, don't forget that this is due, or homework's due, those type of things. And then you choose who you send it to. So you can send it to students, but really I don't use that function at all. I just say to all family members. So I would click that one, and it says that I have 0 family members connected, but that's okay. I would just type a message, and then I can add an attachment too. So that's all those functionalities there too. So sometimes I might take a picture of a note, or the poster for the dance or something like that, and send that through as well. And then I'll just click send now, but because I have no family members, it won't come up. And then to keep track of all my announcements, they actually will sit in your inbox, and there'll be messages with your parents sitting there with their names. And it will come through like that, so that you can see that they've seen it all, which is really good. The last bit that I'm going to just show you is how to assign an activity. So activities are ways for students to show their understanding, doing different skills and using lots of different things. So if I go to assign activity, it's going to open up the activity community. So this is my activity library that's going to open, and this is my personal library. So these are the things that I've already created, and I have collections because I'm a Seesaw ambassador, which I'll talk a little bit about later. But the community is what I want to show you. So the community is where you can find all the activities. So if you want to do an activity on science, or you want to do an activity on word searches or anything like that. So as you can see, it says first grade here because that's what I've selected, but it goes all the way up, so you can do different ones, and you can choose your subjects as well. So for example, I might want to do a Anzac activity for my kids, and this is what is based for year one. So what I can do is go, oh look, these are all these awesome activities that teachers have already made. I don't need to go and redesign anything, and I might go in and I can click on it and have a look at what it is. So the activity says that I'm going to the children are going to press and hold add response. That means they're going to complete the activity. They're going to press the microphone, and they're going to record what they know about Anzac Day, and then they're going to push the submit button. So pretty much what I want to do is, if I click this love heart here, it will end up in my library. So I can save it if I want to save it, and then I can edit it if I'd like as well. So what I'm going to do is click that just to put it into my library, and then it said it's saved in my library. I'm going to go across to my library, and then it's sitting there, and I can click on that as well. Then what I can do from my library is click on the three little arrows. So I can add it to a collection, I can remove from my library, I can share it with other teachers. So I can get a link that would share it to people in year one, or people K2, or whoever I thought would really enjoy this. But if I want to change it and add some things to it, and I think it's a great activity, but I want to add some more, I can go copy and edit. And then that has my activity there. I have the instructions here. And as you can see, it says there's these little kind of little cheat ways. And what that is this here. So these are the little icons, the shortcuts, I guess, when we are creating activities. And so if I type in Seesaw, that's the image that's going to come up for the kids and the students, so that they want them. So they might need to add multiple pages, push plus, add a comment, pause, erase what they're doing. Like there's all these that kind of just let you do what you need to do. So that's what all these little shortcuts are. I can add voice instructions. So if I was going to give this to my year one students, I would definitely add voice instructions, just because some of them could read those simple instructions, but some of them couldn't. So I would do that. There's an example attached so they know what to do, but this is the student template. So at any point I can click on this and I can go and change what I want to do with that. So I can move things around. I could type, I could add another page. I could add another picture, whatever I would want to do, I can do that. And if I don't want to do that, I just go back and do it. And then I click save once I've done all the things I want to change. And as you can see, there's those little symbols that came up with the shortcuts. Now to assign it to my students, I want to click assign. And I'm going to go, so this is my class this year, but I'm going to use my test class, obviously. I'm going to click on here. So at any point I can edit students. So I can go, oh, okay, that person's was away, or that person is not for that group, or I have some A or C kids coming out or in, whatever needs be. So I'm going to assign it to just those kids, but this child is away today. I'll click on the tick, and then I can go and assign to class. Now I can schedule this as well. Scheduling would only come up once you're a Seesaw ambassador, and I'm going to talk about that in my next video. So the scheduling just means I could change it to, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow I want it to go at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would click tick. And then you can see down here the assigned has changed. So then I would go and click assign, and this is just how your students would find it. Then all I'm going to do is go back to my class. I'm going to go to activities, so that's where it is already. And it won't be in assigned activities, it'll be under scheduled because I scheduled it. And that's where it's sitting. So that's what it will look like for the students. And tomorrow at 2 p.m. it's going to pop up and ready to go. And then once the students have done it, it's waiting for my approval. So until I approve that or actually say no and send it back to them, then it won't show on their journal. So that was posting work, sending announcements to parents, and assigning activities. There are lots of different ways you can assign activities, but that's just the basic crux of it. So I hope you enjoy it and answer your questions.